I'm back. Mixu and Epic are gonna do their veto. Second to last series of the night. Obviously, the main event is going to be Big Jumi against Spirit. And Jumi coming in as the underdog, but it wouldn't be the first time that Jumi surprises us. I really believe in Jumi. 2025, I know, year of Hearthstone, but it could also, low-key, become a year of the other protesters. Trigger is cooking. And Jumi has been playing some really good Starcraft lately, so I'm proper excited for that one. Also, really looking forward to this one. I'm so happy to finally have Epic. If you guys would have known how many weeks I have asked Epic if he was available on the Friday, and he always said, oh, I'd love to play, but sorry I can't. I'd love to play, I'm sorry I can't. This time it finally worked out. I'm a fan of Epic. He is not, I think, mega well known for a couple of the either newest school fans or even for some of the Europeans, but Epic is a really good North American Terran player. Kind of like Future. Those two guys have always been excellent. I think Mixu's got his work cut out for him, but yeah, I don't know. What are you guys voting for? It's pretty 50-50, alright. Slightly favored for Mixu. I mean, Mixu is a fan favorite on this channel, so that doesn't surprise me. There's still plenty of minutes left. Exciting weekend in the world of StarCraft, guys. Tomorrow, GSL Code S qualifiers. You've heard that correct. GSL Code S qualies in 2025. Of course, the Basilisk boys will be playing. Indy will host. We do NA, EU coin toss if game 5. Good luck, gamers. Indy will take care of the hosting. Indy is always here. Hey Graf, since you seem like a pretty big Dota fan, what is the next event that I could really look forward to? Let's say I am a Dota fan. I've been very out of it. And is Arteezy still with Shopify Rebellion, or is he now a full-time streamer? Because he's been streaming a lot lately. Is TI the next big one? Where are they hosting it this year? Because I know they did Copenhagen. He left. How come? Did he join a new team? Or he's just full-time content creator right now? I mean, honestly, he's kind of crushing it, right, as a content creator, so. Streamer. Kind of sad that Arteezy never won a TI though. I feel like that was always destined. It's kind of like Messi never winning a World Cup. But then he did manage to get it done. A little bit of help from the referees against the Netherlands, but I don't want to go into details. I don't want to come across salty. It is what it is. If Messi had to win one, the Dutch will let him have it. The next Premier one is Blast, but it's kind of meh. When I followed Dota a little bit in the past, what I felt was that even though they have a super awesome scene and they obviously have a great circuit, they have so many good events, but because TI was so much bigger than everything else, it always felt that every other tournament mattered so much less. It's like, oh, $1 million prize pool, and then 3 of the top teams are like, yeah, we're going to sit this one out. We're just not really feeling it. It's like, that is fucking crazy, no? So the whiskey coke, no mate, that is a regular coke. But I have a whiskey because Vicky got me a whiskey, I didn't even know. My bottle was empty, so I actually thought I was without whiskey. But she got me something that I've never seen before. But it's a very cute, tiny looking purple bottle and it says rye. I can give it a shot. But no, for now it was just a coke. Maybe after this series, if this is a banger, at least 4 games, if not 5. Maybe. Got ready for some Jumi, but I also want to play a couple game pieces of either Battle Aces or Mechabellum. Because I heard that the Battle Aces beta is already disappearing in like 3 days, which I'm very surprised by. Because it felt that Battle Aces just returned. Well, I don't know, maybe a lot of time has gone by, but I feel like it literally just returned. So I think it would be fun to play a few games of Battle Aces on stream tonight. Maybe we can do a couple custom games, maybe I can let viewers play against each other, I can watch. Since I think this is basically my last night where I can truly do some Battle Aces content before the beta disappears again, I'd like to stay live a little bit longer and do some stuff with Battle Aces. But anyway, let's go ahead and enjoy this one, guys. I think it's good. The winner of this best of 5 gets $100. The loser gets 25. All part of !BBB. If you guys ever miss any games, but you can watch it back, you can do !Basilisk. There is a YouTube channel where you can watch every single series of the past back. And last but not least, of course, there's a Basilisk Discord as well. !Discord. We will welcome you there with open arms. If I'm not the one doing it, it will be Coco, who is our unofficial first member, our eternal member. Coco will always be there. She's in our corner. Let's do it, guys. Mixu Epic. I think it's going to be great. Let's do it.
Let's get it on. Round 1. Fight.
Bottom left side of ley lines, we are looking at the main base of one of the finest North American Terran players there has ever been. I know he's never been a mega star in the foreign scene, and I think especially outside of America, a lot of people really never knew how good this kid once upon a time was. He's no longer a kid, but I will always be a fan. It's Epic. Representing Storm Gaming. And in the top right side, we are looking at the main base of the tiny Finnish phenom. Always love having him. I try to show as much love to the European Zergies that are not Reynor and Serral and Lambo when I can. So a lot of young Yakov, a lot of Fjant, a lot of Nikic, decent amount of Chem. He's not European. And of course, always a lot of love for this man. It's Mixu. Hello, ZG. Gambling, ZG. Ay, ay, ay. Do we know much about the Tasteless New League? I don't know a whole lot about it. I kind of know what you guys know. They have a Patreon. You can support it. I think it's starting sometime soon. They're actually going to have qualifiers somewhere in mid-May. That's what I do know. I think like 15, 16, 17 May, something among those lines. That is when you guys can sign up and play in the qualifiers. And then the first season will probably start, I don't know, in a month, 2 months. Do we hope that it has its own patch? No, I don't think that would be a very good idea. I also don't think that is realistic. June will be the first season, man. This summer is just going to be so freaking busy. How is anyone going to run anything when we've got 84,000 Starcraft events running in 3 months? With some intercontinental travel as well. Good luck to the gamers. These gamers are going to have an actual job, guys. It's been a long time since I had the pleasure to cast some Epic. I obviously don't expect anything too crazy. He's a relatively standard, straightforward Terran with just really good execution. Has always had a good micro. Mixu is a man who these days is in love with the Dropper Lords and will always try to create chaos and just survive to hive. You know, a lot of Zergling action going. This is already a decent amount of links. Epic needs to be very cautious to make sure that his Hellions don't get surrounded, but I don't think they will. Hello, Inex. Honestly, mate, that second game is one that's gonna hunt me for a little bit. Ooh, Epic thought it was over, but it's not over yet. Mixu has made way more links. It's a big investment though, and with the extra 2 Hellions coming out, good Hellion positioning over here by Epic. This is very clean defense. Like, sure, he's losing a few SCVs, but for the amount of Zerglings that Mixu made here, I mean, that is 24 Zerglings for a little bit of lost mining time, 1 Marine, 0 Hellions, and 4 SCVs. I think it's a good start for Epic. Yeah, I think the double battery opening mate was a bit unfortunate, but I think game 2 ley lines was more unfortunate for you. I think ley lines, if you just chill at home and you only fly the Banshee out, knowing how good economically that game was already for you, I think that is almost a free win. You played a good series, mate. That was a very tough opponent. Zaka's a high-ranked guy. That's what the Big Brain Bouts is about. Sure, winning some prize money is nice, but you still got some prize money, and hopefully you learned a thing or two. Epic decided to immediately counter with his Hellions. Suicides 4 Hellions and Reaper for 4 drones. Obviously, the 4 drones is a tiny bit more valuable this time than it normally is, because Mixu made so many Zerglings early on from a low economy. I still think he was hoping for a tiny bit more. We do have a Banshee showing up. This Banshee does not have cloak, but it's still gonna get a couple shots off, kill 2 drones. And we'll take it from there, 6 minutes in. No, Johnny 5 Kali. That seems like 99% impossible, because the casting of Tasteless His League will be done over in South Korea. In a studio. That is the whole point of their Patreon, and that's why they're gathering so much money, because they want to get the casters in a physical location so they can be next to each other. I'm obviously not in South Korea. I also don't plan on flying to South Korea to cast some online Starcraft. Maybe if it truly takes off to the whole, to the next level and they go to the moon and they have their offline finals and then they ask me to come, that would be the only option ever. But obviously, I'm not flying to Korea to cast online video games. And they have casters, mate. They don't need me. Mixu is on 66 drones. Epic is on 47 SCVs. I don't think maybe you don't understand the setup. I mean, I will help anything that I think is good for Starcraft, but it is unrealistic for me to fly to Korea to sit in a studio to cast online games. That is not, it's not something that makes any sense. And they have casters. It's not like, oh, it's just gonna be solo tasteless covering the entire lake 20 10-hour days in a row. They've got studios, they're gonna spread it out. That's not the setup that they are working with. Close is a big word, but I've known Tasteless for an incredibly long time. We get along well. He's special. But I like him. If they pay the flight, no. Guys, I'm 37. You're gonna ask me to casually sit in a plane for 16 hours to cast some online StarCraft? That's not something I do. What should I do it for? The exposure? So somebody can discover me in StarCraft 2? Like, the year is not 2004, guys, where I was flying around the world for nothing. Think of the exposure. It's like, no, I think I'm good. I wish everyone well, guys, but there's a lot of different projects running right now. Like, I don't expect Tasteless to stay up till 3 AM to cast the Big Brain Bouts with me on a Friday night. And just because he's not here, that doesn't mean we're not friends or something, you know? Mixu has an infestation pit coming online. He is waiting for his 1-1 upgrades. I already mentioned the drop alerts earlier, but Overlord's speed is not done, so it is a slow drop alert flying in to drop a couple veins. It is unlikely that's going to get a whole lot done. Economically, the game does look fine for Mixu, but the army of Epic has potential. The army of Epic looks good, and if the micro is clean, Mixu's gonna have to sacrifice his base. He can obviously grab all the drones and transfer them to the bottom right side. Big Zergling counterattack. I think Epic's got enough units to deal with this. And for a split second there, grabbed everything, was sending everything home. That is not going to happen. It throws down a scan. It is Lings and Banes. Getting in range. Mixu is gonna have to give up on this base. Buying some time for it is obviously fine. Unfortunately, a couple of the reinforcements get picked up immediately. The big man. There he is. Ah! Lings and Banes does a really good connection on the side of Mixu. A little bit sloppy on the side of Epic. Maybe was distracted because of a few of these pokes of Mixu at home. Baneling count is quite high. Epic's gonna have to micro as hard. Mixu burrowed a couple of Banelings as well. I saw it. I don't know if Epic saw it. It throws down a scan, catches one of them. There are still 3 of them remaining. Oh, if he goes home, though, it would actually be so good for Mixu, but he doesn't go home. Hive tech halfway done. Lings, Banes, Infestors. And Mixu already gave up on one base. Obviously, giving up on another one is kind of painful. Move the Banelings a little bit forward. They obviously cannot go through the side blocker. Epic has units everywhere. It is an excellent first game coming out of our American Terran. But he's not there yet. Hive tech is close to finishing up, and especially on creep. Mixu is dangerous. 2-2 Terran is always so powerful. It is a good old standard 3 base, 8 Rex is set up. We don't have a 4th command. Well, actually we do. 4th command center just finished up. Still an 8 Rex, regardless. Say his name and he disappears. What if he's always with us, guys? What if he's always with us? That is a very big stim by Epic. There was one Baning there. Mixu could have maybe activated it. Even a single Bane would have done quite well there since there was no medevac to heal. A little fungal does land. It is a very close game, and I think Epic's army at this point, especially with the Liberators in the mix and the brilliant tank positioning, should be too much. The Marines are running for the hills. Eventually, they can turn around. Couple of burrowed banelings get connections. Mixu is pulling out all the stops, but after 11 minutes and 10 seconds, it is the North American, the Terran player Epic, that is going to take the 1-0 lead. It is obviously on the NA server. We're now going to swap over to the European server. Well, strong start by Epic. A very, very strong start by Epic. Played well. Mixu made a lot of links early on of a pretty weak economy, and that obviously didn't truly work out. The Hellion donation on the other side of the map wasn't mega, but I think killing 4 drones over a Zerg that already has a smaller economy might still be good enough there. I think ideally he hoped for a little bit more, but I think when you just add in all the variables, I think we can justify it. Overall, strong first game by Epic. Living up to that hype. If I would have praised him for as much as I did, telling you guys to get excited over him, and he just got 3-0'd over here without killing anything. It's like, well, so Roddy, about those NA Terrans. Would have been a bit unfortunate. Thank the Lord that ain't happening. Tassels, I don't know if you're still here, but how's the Battle Aces going? I know you were a cat bus enjoyer last beta. And now every single time I build a cat bus, I think of Nick Tasteless plot. He just kept talking about how his stream was a cat bus friendly stream, and that's all he did. And honestly, cat bus is so good right now. Yeah. I got a bunch of illegal victories today with cat bus. As much fun as it is when you're on the winning side with the cat bus, I personally think that Heavy Hunter, if you have like a dedicated tier 2 anti-air unit, I feel like the Heavy Hunter should be better against the cat bus than what it is. I feel a little bit robbed when I'm on the wrong side of that. Comeback satellite. You mean Guardian Shield? I'm a Guardian Shield enjoyer. I was playing without it and I was getting very angry. A little bit too angry. I could feel my blood pressure raising. I started fuming a little. So I just became one with the dark side. And I now am a Guardian Shield enjoyer. Are you watching Game 3 tonight, Laker Wolves? No, I'm not. Maybe if they go to a Game 7, mate. Then I'll stay awake. But oops, I'm going to have to rehost. Console bug. Okay. I was like, the races are correct. I'm trying to follow the NBA results a little. I'm trying to follow the NHL results a little. But it's too early in the playoffs for me to justify staying up this long. I do like the Lakers with Bron and Luka. So maybe if they are on the verge of being eliminated, or if there's a Game 7, I would stay up. But right now it's too early. I've got a lot of busy weekends ahead of me. I'm trying to protect my sleep schedule while I can. Good night, assholes. Sweet cat bus dreams. So if you guys just say tasteless enough times in my channel, he shows up. Can you guys try that with Pokemon as well? I've always had a dream of Poke stopping by once. Just to say hi, Roddy. Enjoy Starcraft tonight. That'd be so awesome. This is a Queen Poke safe space. I've got wishes too. I've been a loyal sub for all these years. I moved back to Cali now. I'm happy over here, mate. I enjoyed my time over in California, but I am happy in my tiny village. I will watch some of the NA sports. The NFL is on better times in general than NBA and NHL. Tier 4? No. Just a tier 1, mate. I am a modest fan. Well, yeah. Nothing wrong with some tier 1 support. Tier 1s are appreciated. Let's not only care about the big numbers.
Round 2, fight!
Newport Beach and Laguna Beach are the 2 best cities in the world. You can afford it. I can absolutely not afford it. I know enough about Newport and Laguna to safely tell you that I can absolutely not afford it. I don't think I could even afford a park bench in Newport Beach. So, no. But even if I could, I would still not want to live there. But I digress. Let's move on. It is Epic. It is Mixu. It is Game 2 on the Friday night. Here we go. Top left side of Persephone. It's the NA Terran taking the 1-0 lead. But that was on his home server. Game 2 is played over the European server. Can he go back to back? It is Epic. Bottom left side, the man who did give us some cool plays. We had a couple of banelings being dropped out of a drop lord. We had some burrowed banelings. Unfortunately, we just couldn't quite close that army supply deficit that we were working with. This is Mixu. Managed to get up to Hive, managed to get a couple of infestors out, but he was never in a stable position as a Hive Tech Zerg. He was with his back up against the ropes in trouble. I'm sure that he is looking to make it to Hive with a little more playability, a little more wiggle room, a breathing room, and actually show us what he can do. Yeah, honestly, Mixu had a lot of good plays. It was just a little bit too late, and against the 8 Rex, and we're really kind of living in an 8 Rex era, right? There used to be a time that we'd look at Terran build orders and be like, oh, is he doing that? And like 8 barracks build of 3 bases. These days, I almost feel like it's the gold standard. Moja has shown us the way, 3,000 ladder games in a row. Big Ape has a lot of strategies, but when it's for all the marbles, it's always an 8 Rex. Cure likes to 8 Rex for 27 minutes straight and eventually float over his main. Like, people just love it. What is happening? Oh my god. What? Why did I get so many buckies? What has just happened? I got a whole lot of buckies, but I don't know why. I don't know if that is on stream or off stream. I'll take a look at it, guys. Take a look at my my dashboard. That'd be amazing. I'm confused. I don't know what it is, but I'm happy. Did ASML reach 10k now? ASML is struggling at 500 something, man. But it's alright. I'm in ASML for the next 35 years, matey. Don't you worry. Slow and steady wins the race. ASML will pop off. But I am not a financial advisor, so please don't listen to me. I am actually a baboon. And I am very proud to announce that after 2 years of monthly investing, I have now... I can proudly present to you guys the stunning performance of... Now I need to do math. Okay, well... I'm down less than 1%. No, wait, it's 10. Okay, I'm down like 7%. So after 2 years of investing, I'm down a solid 6 or 7%. So whatever you do, don't copy me. I should have just put it on my bank account. But yeah, honestly, it could have been worse. You know what? I'll take the 6. I cannot see the exact number, but like 5 or 6%. It's all right. It could have been so much worse. And honestly, like 10 days ago, it was a lot worse. 10 days ago, it was like over 10%. I was like, well, okay, now it's actually starting to hurt a little. But it doesn't matter. No donations on the screen. No, I don't. I always turn all the alerts off while I do the Big Brain Bouts, because there are people that watch these games back over at YouTube, and I also just don't want it to turn into like a text-to-speech craziness. So there are some alerts in between the games. If I'm out of a game, there will be some pop-ups, but in-game I turn everything off. Which obviously is very bad from a sellout point of view, but I do that just to make it slightly more enjoyable to watch Starcraft. And you guys don't have to maul over me having to do a million shoutouts and whatnot. Trying to get a donut train going. Yeah, mate, I think I saw that. I'll give you a proper shoutout after this game, because that was very, very, very generous. I will have a way to show it, just not during the games. Trying to keep the main focus, at least on screen, about the Starcraft. You know, I'm yapping about Lord knows everything, but while the games are going on, I'm trying not to make it too distracting. There are many other moments where I do have alerts on stream if I'm playing Macabellum or just some ladder games or anything else. During Big Brain Bouts, I turn it off. During the Monday night, I turn it off. I think most of the time towards the end. But thank you, matey. Thanks in advance, because I believe that was you. That is incredibly sweet. We've got 2 Banshees on the left side. We've got a bunch of Hellions over here in the center. Hellions are thinking about going for it. Last game we had no cloak Banshees, by the way. We had double Banshee, but they had no cloak. This time they have cloaked. Spore Crawl is a bit of an awkward spot. Oh, that is a very unfortunate drone transfer on the side of Mixu. Because the shed is leaking. To be fair, I think when Artosis is casting, that doesn't happen. Yeah, when he's playing, it's a crazy place, but I know, I read a Reddit thread just like you guys probably every single week. It's like everybody else hate our this stream, but on one hand, it's pretty sick. Like, it is a very weird, unique place on the internet. And I think instead of hating on it, I think you should just embrace it. You can be like, well, this is unlike literally every other channel. And I understand that some people might find it frustrating. But you gotta appreciate what it is. It is crazy, it is wild, it is hectic. It is obviously beyond ridiculous and incredibly immature, but it is something very special. And I think there should be a place like that. Now, it happens to be Artosis' stream, but yeah. There has to be something like that. It is obviously, it would drive me insane. I really think it's impressive how Dan handles it. And yeah, you can say like, but he makes money all day. Yeah, but it's also, it's not like his first stream. This is not his first stream. It's not his second stream. He's done it for years. So he's clearly able to handle it pretty well. It would drive me nuts. But I think it's pretty fun. And I get that it's not for everyone. But I think it's pretty sick. Epic has a couple of cloak banshees hitting the force base of Mixu. Mixu is ready for a massive counter and the doors are wide open. Epic is just inviting him in. I feel like we can make a couple of jokes about border control here, but we are not going to do that in this current day and age. But that is a lot of illegal Zerglings just making their way into the natural, into the main base of Epic. And it is going to hurt Epic's economy, guys. These SCVs are out of a job immediately, as they are no longer mining. Well, there are a couple of them are still mining over at the third. They're well protected. Great counter by Mixu. The pig is rubbing over you. I went very safe and conservative there, Ian Blue. Nothing I said there was actually on the line. Mixu's looking good here in game tonight. He's not a hive-tech Zerg yet, and I think as long as there's no hive-tech Zerg, we can't really call games like this over. It is incredibly easy for a Zerg to throw off creep, but Epic is gonna move his units to the right side. While meanwhile from the left, we've got a lot of Lings and Banes coming in. The Banes don't even really connect. Extra Zerglings streaming into the natural. Mixu is flying, he's clicking on an orbital, and the orbital's not being repaired. Is there a world where the orbital dies? Nah, that shouldn't be. Honestly, it was pretty close. Mixu does need to be a little bit careful, guys, because the army supply of Mixu is not that hot right now. Economically, of course, he's flying, and if this continues for another minute or two, yeah, he will always have to get. We're not even raising depots anymore. We don't even have a wall off. Relentless, non-stop counterattacks on the side of Mixu. Epic is going to try to spread like he's Liquid Clem in his glory days, but on creep. That is going to be difficult, but oh man, somehow a couple of Marines do survive. Guy with gun pretty good. Couple of tanks are still in the mix. Epic, you need to be very careful with these last Marines. This is, I mean, this should never be close. This should be Omega over, and I think it's pretty over. But Mixu made that a tiny bit scary there for a split second, but I think now in the end, on creep, we've got more than enough Zerg. And after 2 games, I think we're all tied up. Mixu wins on the European server. Epic won game 1 on the American server. And we'll go back to NA for game 3. Good job. Mixu obviously tried to already show us a little bit of his run-by potential in game 1, but it didn't quite work out. Not at least in the way that he was hoping for, because Epic had so many freaking units. On this map, the run-bys were deadly. Life would have been proud of them. If Reynor is still awake, I'm honestly kind of worried, because Reynor's got a big day tomorrow. GSO, go there, Squallies. But if Reynor was still awake, Reynor would look at this and he would know that it was good on Mixu's side. Thank you to Pencil. There you guys can see when I switch the scenes, there is an alert. Let me just take a quick look at my Stream Elements dashboard, because you were incredibly sweet to me, mate. When does GSL start? Tomorrow, 5:30 Korean time is the qualifier. So guys, while that game was going on and the man said that I could live in Newport or Laguna, which was it Laguna, whatever. The man sent me this.
The madman.
You can afford it.
Now, even with 175 buckies made, I don't think I could afford Laguna Beach. And for the people who don't know Laguna, I highly recommend the TV show called The Hills with, what's her name? Laura Compton or something? No, that's Lauren Elise. Who was it? What was the name of that main actress of The Hills? that show often, was it Lauren Conrad? Yeah, then I was close. I am not ashamed to admit that I've watched all 6, 7, or 8 seasons, whatever it was, of The Hills. I absolutely love The Hills. I thought it was top tier television. I thought it was so good. And they were very often in Laguna. So if you guys want to learn more about Laguna, you can go back and watch The Hills. Banger TV content. Piston was my favorite. I kind of forgot the names, but I do remember really enjoying it. I think I was watching it 2005-ish? 2005, 6, 7? Is that possible? They often had very good songs as well in their episodes. They would like grab like a tiny sound bit of a Nelly Furtado song and it's like, do it, how you do it to me, I throw it up. And they always went to Vegas and it was cool. What do you think about Spencer? I don't remember the details, mate. But Spencer was one of the main guys, right? Like big guy with a bit curly hair, mega jacked. I think I was okay with him. I feel like I was the biggest fan, not of Lauren, but of one of her friends. Who I think was like, she was in art, or she lived in New York, or she moved to New York, I don't know. And I think later on she got her own television show. What's the name? Yeah, so there was a spin-off, I think, of like one of the main girls. I think she went to New York and then she got her own show. I used to think that she was the best. But this is a very long time ago. I don't really remember details. I just remember loving The Hills. The Hills was great. If you guys want to learn more about Laguna, there you go. Spencer was the best character, biggest nice. I don't remember much of it. I'd have to go back and watch it again. And honestly, I'm down for it. I recently went through 7 seasons of Entourage again. And it was just as good as 20 years ago. And I also watched some Californication from time to time. Why not go back and watch The Hills again? Vamos.
Round 3. Fight.
Maybe it was Heidi. Maybe Heidi is the one I'm thinking of. We are back on the American server. Not Laguna, not New York. I don't even know where Epic lives, but I believe it's somewhere on the East Coast. If I have to guess, I'm gonna go with Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania or DC. That's where I think this man lives. Representing Psystorm Gaming. It is Epic. Entourage was a goated show in my eyes. I really loved it. Bottom left side, it is the tiny Finnish phenom coming into the series. In my mind, it was going to be incredibly close and competitive between these two, as this is also not a matchup that happens all the time. High level, both players above 6,000 MMR, obviously, if they're feeling it. I think so far it shows in this best of 5 that it is close and competitive between them. This is the tiny Finnish phenom, Mixu. He paid for every single season of GOM TV. I do remember living in Cologne in 2010 and having the GOM TV player installed on my PC and trying to watch a couple of games together with DeMusliM, who was my roommate. And I think we could count the pixels on our screen. Those were the days. Their own player. And then people called it the GOM TVT player because 87% of the games in GSL early seasons were TVT. And Ben was always loving it. I already played Protoss back then, and I was like, yeah, GSL seems pretty cool, but that's a lot of TVT. Maybe that's where my hatred of TVT started. 2010, 2011. Too many damn TVTs. Yeah, one of my favorite parts about like the early years of GSL, and I think they kind of still do that, is that they obviously always had banger songs, right? They had a banger soundtrack. And then you have people coming into my stream later on, it's like, hey Roddy, why doesn't NESL use like the same track list as GOM TV? GOM TV has really good songs. It's like, yeah mate, they're playing Panic at the Disco and Fallout Boy. Like, what do you think happens to an American company that is registered in California if they casually start broadcasting Fallout Boy and Panic at the Disco? We like that music too, mate. We'd love to put it in, but it's not that simple. They're like, yeah, but GSL does it. I was like, yeah, well, I think GSL just does not give an F. Unfortunately, if you're a California broadcast studio, you do kind of have to care. Otherwise, we're out of business in a couple months. Now, they went out of business anyway, but it would have gone a whole lot sooner if we would have used their playlist. Banger songs, though. I agree. I remember a year ago. Sure, but if you tell me, like, hey, Roddy, you can pick any song on the planet and gave us a couple of hype moments, oh, I can pick some really good songs for you, too. It's just that if you're trying to play by the rules, it's not that simple. There's a lot of crazy, cool hype music out there. I think for a lot of Starcraft fans, when Torzane won his remake, that was also one of the coolest moments ever. And what made that moment so cool is not just that Torzane won a remake, because obviously that was magical, but it's also that song, right? Like do 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 do, and the crowd going wild. You know, they also had no license for that, but that was an absolutely fantastic song as well. The moment was great, but it was 10 times better because of the music. Mixu has lost 2 Zerglings in this game. 2 Zerglings for 2 SCVs. That is obviously mighty fine. We'll keep an eye on the Hellions and see if Epic can also find some worker damage. That's not bad. 3 drones. And so for all the Hellions still alive, Mixu fires up 13 additional workers. Mixu is set. In a weird way, this kind of becomes... I think when it's this competitive between these guys, and there is obviously a pretty big server advantage. Like, this advantage of servers is bigger than, let's say, when Clem plays against Hero. And it's like, oh, it's West, it's Central, it's West, it's Central. There is an advantage there, but I think that is less significant than when it's an American versus a European, and there is truly American server versus European server. So in a weird way, this becomes a bit of a tennis match. Where right now, Epic started serving. He won his first game. Then Mixu served. He won his game. And now we're back on Epic serve. And we'll see if he can keep his game. Or if Mixu can find a break point. Or potentially even break Mr. Epic over here. The Lair is already done on the side of Mixu as he drops double Evo as well. We'll probably start working on +1 melee, +1 carapace. I'm not expecting mega quick hive. Oh, by the way, I just realized that I completely dialed down the color intensity. Right? I think that is across all the accounts. Let me just fix it a little bit, because I think it looks silly like this. I had it at 11 for a long time. At 11 everything starts glowing. But it's better than 1. I think it will only be activated next game. It should look better. Mixu loves his drop lords with links, with banes. It's something that I've truly started appreciating over the last 12 to 18 months watching Mixu play a lot of games. I think it is really one of the best ways for Zergs to find damage in situations where normally it is very hard to find damage. Epic has a couple of Hellions that have morphed into Hellbats. A very tiny Zergling run by into the natural. That is going to win the fight though against these Marines. Will Epic turn around with everything? I think Epic is a bit of an F2 fan. I've seen a few F2 clicks throughout the series. Hellbats though taking an excellent fight against Zerglings. As Epic was maybe busy microing some SCVs, but perhaps Mixu was busy microing those links on the other side of the map. Marines are gonna stim in. Epic on the North American server. Here in Game 3 is gonna start spreading his Marines a little bit. Great target fire on the Banelings. Epic sniping Banelings for days. This is looking excellent. I do think Mixu will eventually clean this up. But we have to ask ourselves to ask the question. At what cost? Oh, that is early by the way. The Hellbat. Sending those drones back while 2 Hellbats were still alive. That could have gone terribly wrong. In the end it is okay. I think Epic is going to be more than happy with that. Especially because he had to worry about the Dropaloid dropping a few links in his main. He had to worry about a very tiny but still significant Zergling run by. Like 5 links is not a lot, but if you ignore it, they're going to make their way through your entire mineral line while you're trying to micro Marines on creep. Yeah, Epic's upgrades are indeed really freaking quick. 1-1 has been done for a little while. Mixu sets up a slow Dropalord Baneling drop. Does he have enough units at home though? Again, really good Marine micro. What? Feyenoord is playing today? I suddenly get a message on my phone. Feyenoord versus Pax Wallace starting in 15 minutes. Why the hell is Feyenoord playing today? Don't they know that I'm doing the Big Brain Bouts? I'm very disappointed in my city. This one tank is still going strong as the Marines will stim once more. The micro by Epic, especially on the NA server, has truly been impressive. He is getting as many shots off as he absolutely possibly could out of these Marines. Oh, snipes that bailing us. Oh, epic. Epic, epic, epic. Ah, good shit, man. Really, really good shit. Pardon my French, but there is no other way to describe it. Excellent unit control coming out of our North American Terran. And this is why I like this kid, and this is why I've asked him to play in the Big Brain Bouts so many times. It is a shame that he's not always able to. Otherwise, I would invite him every single week. I love Epic, I love Future. These guys are so cool. And I think a lot of Europeans have been sleeping on these Terrans for a little while. I don't know if we had a cancel or a kill on that hatch. I'm starting to think that was maybe a kill, guys, because Mixer's now lost 2 hatcheries, and this game is just going from a bad to worse.
Oh my gosh. This is going from worse to worse.
It really is. You have 3 extra Rexes coming online on the side of Epic as 3-3 upgrades are basically in sync with the 2-2 of Mixu. Mixu's also been losing a couple hatches. Epic is once more gonna try to be Liquid Clem.
Liquid Clem.
Yeah, this time the Veiling did connect a little bit, but it does not matter. Epic holds his game, holds his server, and enters game 4 with a 2-1 lead, and he's got match point. Hello, Foxer. You deserve to be mentioned as well, mate. You know I love you too. And as good as you are, I've always thought like Epic and Future are truly, I think, pretty spectacular players. And if they just had like a little more support, or if Starcraft was a bigger deal in NA, and maybe, I don't know, they would have gotten lucky once or twice with the team signing them. I think they could have done more than what they have done. They really are great players, and they're showing that still in the year 2025. Same goes for you, Dolan. I love you too, mate. But Epic and Future are special to me. You guys notice how I put special in there? Even though he's Latin American. So Magdeburg made a 1-1 draw in Berlin. Lino, you're on so much coke. If you guys are wondering what my friend Lino Vialles in the chat, we just call him Lino because that's a lot easier, is yapping about. Lino is a big fan of a team called Nuremberg. He is hoping that Nuremberg will promote to the Bundesliga. Right now, the odds of Nuremberg promoting are similar to, let's say, Arsenal winning the Premier League. Yet, he is updating me every 7 minutes about what is happening in any of the games. If you guys believe there is a world where Liverpool loses 5 games in a row by like 3-0 and Arsenal still wins the Premier League, then you guys will also believe that Lino's team can make it to the Bundesliga. I'm all for storylines, guys, but I don't know if this is a storyline that I really want to be involved in. VAS. Oh, I am not I'm an expert in a lot of things, bully. I'll show you with pride my German skills when you come over to Europe this summer. I will gladly lead the charge through the beautiful streets of Krefeld. And ich rede nur auf Deutsch. I will impress you. But yeah, my Spanish skills, nowhere to be seen. I know Vamos, which does, I mean, believe that I'm basically fluent. But other than Vamos, it gets a little tricky. To be fair, I said something in Big Shadow about Vamos. I forgot what he said. I was listening. He read out my message. And instead of Vamos, what did Pig say? He said something really funny. Vamos, I think. I think he read it as Vamos. It was pretty silly. Anyway, the game 4, guys, as we are back on the European server. Vamos, as Pig would say.
Round 4. Fight.
The bottom right side of Incorporeal, we are looking at the main base of one of the greatest American Terran players there has ever been in StarCraft 2. I've always been a fan of this guy, happy to see him play. Good performance so far, some great micro coming out of Storm Gaming's Epic. And lots of Marines and good multitasking. Honestly, been a solid series. Top left side, we are looking at the main base of the second best player coming out of Finland. I don't know if he is representing anybody at the moment. He might be teamless for a while, but that will of course change once he qualifies for that Esports World Cup. This is Mixu. Why not, guys? Let Mixu dream. It could very well be the summer of Mixu. If we can have the summer of Jumi, we can have the summer of Mixu. And the summer of Trigger, of course. Trigger will cook over in Korea. I don't know if you're asking me, by the way, Lambo. I would probably be down, mate. I will probably be down. I'm ready. You know I'm coming to Homestead Cup. As a spectator. As a fan. Okay, I thought you were maybe asking Lino. Yeah, I can come. I can play, mate. I hope you're ready, mate. You haven't seen a right foot like this since Wesley Snyder in his prime. And I know somebody would say, Roddy, he was left. Not true. He could shoot with both feet. And I'm a big Wesley Snyder fan, so. Do you think it's unfair if I play on 5.5k tournament server? No, I think 5.5 is fine. I think if it's 5.3 and below, I think that's pushing it a little. Because I really do think you're better than 5.3. So if it's like 5.3 hard stop and players below, I think you're too good for that. I think 5.5 is fair. I did see, that's funny that you asked me that, yes. But I saw Wesley Snyder for literally, guys, 5 seconds last summer during the Esports World Cup while we were handling the Starcraft tournament. One of the guys in production came to me and he's like, you're Dutch, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, you like football? I was like, yeah. He's like, do you know Wesley Snyder? I was like, yes. He's like, he's here. I was like, what? Here? He's like, yeah, he's like in the lobby. I was like, what? So I went over, but then he was surrounded by 20 people and they had to take him to a different location. I think to the bungalow where Loco was doing his broadcast. Because Loco wasn't on the StarCraft broadcast, but Loco was on the overall EWC broadcast. So Loco really had the chance to sit down with him forever. But I was just able to walk up to him and I was like, I just said something like, yo, Wes, even though I come from RotterdaM, I've always been a big fan. I said it in Dutch, obviously. And he was laughing. And he was like, oh, that's awesome to hear, yada yada. And then he said, Feyenoord won today. I was like, I know. So yeah, that was cool for me. He's one of my favorite Dutch football players in history. So little interactions like that, obviously fun. He has spent a long time in the Middle East. I think he played either in Qatar or Dubai, one of the two, for a couple of years towards the tail end of his career. I think Wesley is no stranger to some Middle Eastern connections. We have a few guys like Bergwijn, who's still one of the better Dutch players out there. He plays in the Saudi Arabian League at the moment. His team is actually winning the competition. Plays for the team of Benzema. And I think he's doing quite good for them. Like, every time I check, I see that he scores. I don't know why I'm following Saudi Arabian football, guys, but it just kind of happens. They've got a lot of players that I used to be familiar with, so it's kind of fun. And obviously Ronaldo is still playing. I'm not a diehard Ronaldo fan. Got a triple CC 1-1-1 setup here for Epic. This is all red as standard. And Mixu will probably play like somewhat conservative. This game 4 is played on the European server. So far they have been able to win the games on their home server throughout the series. Mixu will probably feel that the ball is not really in his corner to make a great play happen. But that is up to Epic. Because Mixu will probably think, hey, the longer nothing happens, the better it is for me. I've got ping advantage. And if I just make it up to Hive, you give me some spellcasters, I'll be fine. Seems like it's a decent map. I actually don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's a good Atrax. This is such a weird part, by the way, of the map. I've already seen a few armies get completely stuck. This is like no way out. You walk in here and suddenly you're locked in. It's a bit odd. I like it, but it's odd. Did they recolor this map? No, I did change the color intensity. Hello, Mixu. Mixu was shooting at either his larva or... I don't know what he's shooting at. Epic throws down a scan just to push the creep back a little bit. Mixu has missile attacks on the way, guys. Dropped the Roach Farm. Maybe he was worried about another like Hellbat variation, but there are no Hellbats. A little bit surprised that this is the style that Mixu is going for. Obviously, Roaches can be very strong defensively, just to buy some time and transition, especially if you get a couple Ravages, just to pick off these tanks, get in and out of range. If Mixu decides to be very aggressive with Roachling Ravager, I'll be a tiny bit surprised. And he's making so many Roaches, and I'm really starting to feel like he is going to be aggressive here. By the way, Lambo, next week, mate, next Friday is basically the last Friday that I can have you in the BBB for a long time. After next Friday, I won't be available until the 20th of June. And then after the 20th of June, I won't be available for a couple Fridays either. So if Lambo wants to shine in a big brain bout, it has to happen upcoming Friday. Otherwise, we're going to have to go all summer without Lambo. The DMs are the absolute proof that I have tried. Serral played like 2 weeks ago. Or was it even last week? Did Serral play last week? Against Classic? So you guys can't complain about the lack of Yona. Don't be so weird, man. Come on. Please don't be that weird. Epic, your Banshees. Epic does not have cloak. He is distracted. I don't know what we were looking at. Maybe the Marines battling the Roaches, but that is a big loss. Losing the Banshees like that ain't pretty. Mixu setting up another drop lord. He's been doing this, by the way, throughout the series without speed. Maybe this feels like that's not quite worth the investment, but it's still worth trying over and over again. Oh my god, losing the Banshees against this build in particular is such a disaster. What is the tank count? 3. The Hellbats are kind of clunky, so maybe they can soak up. Okay, the fact that the tank is still alive is honestly quite good. So far, a decent start to a potential impossible hold perhaps on the side of Epic. But it's still going to be very, very difficult. But the start is perhaps as good as it will ever get. We have a couple of Marines as well gunning down that Dropalord. Those Hellbats there, guys, absolutely gave their life for the Terran equivalent of Ire. Maybe it's Earth, but I don't believe that. I would never be from the same planet as a bunch of Hellbats and Reapers. One tank will potentially finally fall. The tank positioning on the side of Epic has been so freaking good that I'm starting to believe that even after he lost 2 Banshees for almost nothing in the center of the map, Epic pulls off a hold with absolutely goated tank positioning. And obviously Mixu will be kicking himself a little bit for the way that he executed this attack. Maybe Mixu got careless, reckless, thinking I have so much, this is always going to be fine. This tank right here, Brad Pitt would absolutely love to make another movie about this tank. He will say, I thought it was the best job I ever had a long time ago, but I found a better one. And this being Epic's tank. Well, Mixu is even going to send it with the Queens, guys, but we are 15-20 seconds away from 2-2. If Mixu can snipe the E-base, then obviously he would buy a lot of time for himself. But if we couldn't do it earlier, how are we going to do it now when Epic's army is bigger, it's better, the tank count is increasing. Brad Pitt has moved a couple inches forward, but he is still going to unleash absolute hell. One of the E-base is taking a lot of damage, one more tank is exploding. I think Epic just wins this, man. Epic on the European server, Stims forward, Marines and Marauders going to town on all the Queens, Roaches, Ravages. What a hold, what a game. Epic 3, Mixu 1. Epic will walk away with the 100 buckies. That is impressive. Really, really, really impressive by the American talent. After losing the Banshees, I thought he was cooked, man. After he lost those Banshees, I really thought he was cooked. 71 army supply against 134. Obviously not everything is here for Mixu. This was such goated tank positioning. And these Hellbats forcing like becoming a bit of a force field. This tank is so sick. And this was a really good chase. Sometimes the chase is a bit too far. Also having to worry about a couple of Zerglings in his main. On the European server as well. Very impressive. It's 10 out of 10 tank position. Legitimately very, very well handled. Mixu will be kicking himself a little bit for that one, but great series by Epic. I'm happy for him. North American Terran will walk away with 100 bucks. Fun to finally have him again. I always ask him, I always ask Future, I always ask Epic, and they are not often available, but I'm glad it worked out today. That's a strong one. Just reminding us once more that he is still one of the finer Terran players out there. You guys believed. I hyped him up. I kind of thought you guys would vote for Mixu. Well, you guys actually believed Epic gets the job done, 59%. And that means we've got one last series. It is for Jumi as underdog entering the main event, in which he's got a pretty damn good track record, versus Spirit, best of 5. I know that Jumi has at least 2 wins in the main event. I don't know if he played more. Jumi might be undefeated in the main event, guys. Either only 2 or maybe he had a 3rd or 4th performance, but I forgot about that. But I can think of at least 2 that he won. He comes in this one as an underdog. I even had some DMs. Roddy, are you sure about this? But yeah, eventually Jumi has to make that final step up. And I think over the last few months... you lost to Utherma. Okay. Right, Marcus is the GOAT. Marcus is the GOAT in the VVV. I think Utherma was like the only undefeated player I've ever invited. He's like 4-0. I actually asked him, by the way, for this week, but he unfortunately couldn't make it. So Jumi, I'm excited for this, and I'll tell you guys more about it. Why? Main event BBB number 95, the second to last one for a little while. After this one, there are too many Fridays in a row that I am unfortunately not here. I'm not able to cast video games. But next Friday I'll be here. And I'll try to make next Friday a turbo banger. 4 amazing matches. I try to make every match worth tuning in for. That hopefully you guys will be here from the very beginning till the end. What do you think of Destiny quitting SC2 and going into politics? I don't have much of an opinion on that. I think that Destiny is obviously very successful, right? So I don't think anybody can say that he did something bad. Because I can't really imagine Destiny still streaming, building a couple Zerglings, Roaches, and Ravages in the year 2025 after doing it for 15 years straight. I honestly think it goes for anyone. Anybody who was very involved in Starcraft and eventually moved on to something else and succeeded in that, I think it's worth applauding. It's not easy. It's not easy to transition. We have seen people try and fail. He is clearly incredibly successful in what he does, so I wouldn't knock on it. I obviously don't necessarily always agree with all his takes. Sometimes I do, not always, but to each their own. I would not knock on it. I think it's impressive. And I think saying anything other than it being impressive would be kind of silly, right? His Zerg was classic. Yeah, no, it's cool that he was a part of our scene a long time ago. Whether you like him right now or you don't, I think it is cool that someone who is, engaging in debates with some of the most famous people on the planet on a daily basis used to be a Starcraft player like us. I think that's a cool thing. Anyway, I'll take a very tiny break, and after that, I'll be back. Main event, Jumi Spirit. I'm excited for it, and I'll tell you guys all about it why soon. The winner gets $150, the loser gets 50. I probably will play a few games of Battle Aces because the beta came, and I heard that the beta will already go away again in a couple days. So after Jumi versus Spirit, I'll play a few games of Battle Aces. Maybe against people in the chat, maybe on the ladder, we'll figure it out. I'll see you guys soon. Or you guys can play against each other.